friends, Pam Shepherd with Pamela Shepherd Productions here, and today I am going to show you how I made strips to add to my quilt as you go. I wanted to make it bigger and I didn't have any more fabric, so I got busy and I took some fabric that I had and I made strips out of it. And so you can see, and I'll explain to you exactly how I do this. Oh, my little doggy's gonna bark. So anyhow, and then here's the back of it. Adding the strips. It's very, very pretty. I like it. I think it's very attractive, and I think it's a good thing. So let's put the camera down and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do, okay? Don't forget to subscribe if you like this channel, and give me a thumbs up if you like it, okay? All right, let's go. Okay, believe it or not, this is my pattern that I drew up. Okay, so I told you I was just making my quilt blocks, going along happily doing what I wanted to do. And then my daughter said, I love that, Mom, I want it for my bed. Pardon me. And she has a king-size bed. So I wasn't even sure that I was going to have enough blocks, and certainly I did not. I did not have enough for the back fabric that I was just using what I had on hand. So what I've made here is these little squares here are where I put 4 of them together. So that's the combined 4 block. So that's what I'm going to call those. And this across the top of the quilt, I had some extra blocks, but I didn't have enough to make 4, the combined 4. So I'm doing just 1 across the top to help me with my length. And a lot of times at the top of a quilt or blanket, it looks a little bit different anyhow. So as you can see, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the combined 4 across, and 1, 2, 3, 4 down, and then the ones across the top. I'll put the numbers on the screen and down below so you'll understand it a little bit more. But then, so I'm going to show you how I made the strips. These are 4-inch strips, all the way 4-inch. So over here, let me see if this is where I drew it out. Okay, so I drew it out again, and as you can see across the top, I put, okay, a 4-inch, 16 inches when I have all the combined blocks, and then a 4-inch strip, 16-inch, 4-inch block, 16-inch, 4-inch block. So that takes me to 96 inches. And then besides this part, I'm actually going to do a really cool border with this way cool lace that I got at Hobby Lobby. So, and then if you come down, you see I put 8 inches at the top, because remember I didn't have enough to make the big 4, so I'm only doing just a single one, 8, and then a 4-inch strip, and then 16, 4-inch strip, 16 inches, 4-inch strip, 16 inches, 4-inch strip, 16 inches. So then that takes me down to 88 inches. But like I said, I'm going to have a really cool lace all the way around. I did write down here what it says on the computer, you know, for a crib size, twin, full, queen. King says 76 by 80 is the mattress. And they say 106 by 92 for a comforter. So that's why I have to, I'm going to add a really cool border anyhow with the real poofy lace. I think it's going to look nice. So that's what I'm doing to increase my quilt, because it didn't have enough fabric. And actually, I think it's looking pretty nice. So I will show you that next. Okay, so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. This block here is one that has all 4 blocks together. That's a combined 4. And then I decided, see, I had to put the strips in between to give me 4 more inches. This is kind of hanging off. But see, and I'll show you how I ended up doing these strips. And as you can see, I have it going in between where I'm going to add the other ones. And then I'll tell you how I ended up doing that and how I decided to do that. But, you know, just for an overall look, I liked it a lot. Okay, I have this draped across the sofa, and I don't have any lighting in here that's right. But as you can see, I really like the looks of it. And so I will show you a little bit later how you just put this together exactly like you do anything else. You just sew it together as close as you can. all the way down, and then you fold them over. I think it just softened it so much, and I actually love it. I love the way it looks. Okay, so actually what I'm going to show you right now is making the strips, how I decided to do the strips. And then when I started on them, I realized I kind of messed up because, you know, you see the strips in between each one. I forgot about the little corners. So I made myself 16-inch strips and 16 inches of batting. And then I forgot that there's, you know, a little 4-inch corner there. But it ended up looking better the way that I ended up having to do it. So here we go. I'm going to show you how I make one of these 16-inch strips and how I make the 4-inch strip. And then at the very top, those are only little 8-inch strips because, like I said, I didn't have enough of the squares left over to do another whole row. So I'm going to set this aside, my handy-dandy pattern. Okay, so first thing I'm going to show you is how I made one of the strips. And back to the pattern, I'm going to make one of these strips like that. And so I know that I want the finished product to be 4 inches wide by 16 inches long. So I want another inch all the way around because I need to turn them in like we do on the whole entire folding up of the quilt. If you haven't seen the one where I'm sewing the squares together on the quilt, I will put that video right down below and you can click on that and go watch that one. So when I didn't know if I'd have enough fabric, even of this particular, I had this one here that I had purchased at Joann's. I had some yards of it, and so I thought, how do I know if I even have enough of that? So I went through and I wrote down on this page, I wrote, I'm going to need 36 6x8 fabrics for the bottom. That's what this is. I needed it to be for the bottom. But when I realized that if I went clear to the 6 inches, I wasn't going to have enough. So I took these little, I mean, I know this is like a, this is not like just going to the store and buying the fabric. So, but this is what you can do with stuff that you have at home. So I had these pieces from the jelly roll, and I sewed them on each side of my piece. See, I just took a 1/4 inch seam, put them together, and that's actually going to be the back of the quilt. And I'll show you that in a second. So on the front, I needed to put a piece of batting, but I wanted the batting to be exactly what I really needed, which was 4 inches. I got thread everywhere, sorry, by 16. 4 by 16. So then this is going to be the top of my quilt, and it needs to be 4 by 16. Well, when I sew those jelly roll things on the side, they're 2.5 inches, so I was going to do it, but it leaves so much fabric to fold over it, and it makes it really difficult. So I ended up having to cut those down 1 inch, so then it really is 1 inch all the way around, because these are too wide. So I did. I had to cut these off 1 inch. So when I got that part together, I'll show you where I've actually done one here. So I did it. I did the back, and I had 1 inch all the way around. So this is actually the back that's got the longer piece. So I decided I had to quilt that as I go too. So what I ended up doing was I decided to just do just kind of a big zigzag to make it look a little bit different. Okay, so here's how I decided to do the zigzag and zigzag my batting and my top on. So this is 16 inches. So I went exactly in the middle, 8, and then in between these two down here, I went 4, 8, and then exactly in between these two, I did 4. See? That's 8, and half of that's 4. That's 8, and half of that's 4. So then I would just follow this dot with my line, to this dot with my line, to this dot with my line, to the corner with my line. And that's how I ended up doing the zigzag. Whether it's right or wrong, that's what I did, and I liked the way it looked. So that's how I would sew this on. But like I said, I really have to cut off 1 inch of this and 1 inch of this. That's too much fabric to fold it up. After I got this part sewed together, you know, like that, let me show you on the big one here. Okay, I sewed the zigzag on. Oh yeah, there's the dots. So I went, you know, halfway and then fourth. Now, so what I did then is I realized, oh my gosh, when I was doing my little pattern, thought, what was I thinking? I couldn't just go the 16 inches here. Let me zoom you in so you can see what I'm talking about. I couldn't just do the 16 inches right here and the 16 inches right here. I forgot there's a little corner, and that had to be 4-inch square. So I thought, okay, I'll make 4-inch squares for every one of these corners. So that's what I did. Same principle. I wanted them to be 4 inches by 4 inches. So once again, I needed 1 inch all the way around. Look how crooked this one is. But I needed it to be 1 inch all the way around. I did the same thing. I took a 4-inch piece, sewed those two jelly roll pieces to it, and then cut myself a 4x4 batting. Now, once again, it's too much fabric, so I have to cut it where there's just 1 inch instead of 2.5 inches. And there's 1 inch all the way around. This one might not even be a real one. It might have been one I had left over, but anyhow, so you see the principle. So let me show you on the big one that I put together what I did. When I got to these little square ones, I just did a crisscross. So the back of, this would actually be the front of the quilt. And this is the back of the quilt. So on the back you see the zigzag like that, and then you see the crisscross inside the little square. And then I started just sewing those together. So I put this big long strip together so it would be easier to work with to just put on a big strip. So let me get that and I'll show you. I'll start sewing that and show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm here at my dining room table doing this part of it. So I have one set of the 4 blocks with, see, I already put one of the strips on the top of it. And then I ended up putting a strip between it, each one. And then I did the big long strips on the top and bottom. See? So I have a group of 4, a strip, a group of 4, a strip, and then I have 5 of these groups of 4 going across. Then I made the big long strip and I sewed it just like I did the rest of the quilt. And I sewed it, put the lace on top, put it all the way down. See the little crisscross corner? So I can put these two together, because see, there's a strip that goes in between. And another group of 4 with a strip, this one going clear across the top, going clear across the top. And all of these will have lace on them, of course. And then that gets to the end. Now, I'm going to turn it over and show you the back. So here's the 4 combined corner with the strip on the back. And I'm not putting lace on the pink ones. I'm just putting lace where all of the strips join. See, I have those pinned on there, ready to sew those. And then you go across the back. And this is a big undertaking, a king-size quilt, I'm not going to lie. But I love the way that this softened the quilt so much. It is just so Shabby Chic and so pretty. And then see, as when I put the strips on the side here, even on the back, I take the lace and I put it across the center. Then what I've been doing with this lace is I've been zigzagging it on there, real wide zigzag stitch, holding it there. But anyhow, yeah, this is the back. I put it down a little straightforward down, and then I turn it around, and this is the front. And I am loving the way that it's turning out. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and if I can make something more clear for you, I certainly will. And as I get this completed, I certainly will put a picture on it for you. And if I come across, yeah, and I'll put down below where I got this lace on Amazon. I really, really like it. I actually got some white too, because I'm going to use some on a different quilt that's more in the black and whites and grays and stuff. And this one, of course, I needed it to be cream. And I'll figure up exactly how much lace I needed to use. I can't remember how many I've already used, so I'll figure it out by measuring on the quilt. And so, there you have it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. This is adding strips to make a quilt larger and just doing it quilt as you go as well. So I'm going to put these together back to back. And what I'm going to do is sew as close as I can to this without getting on top of it. If you do get on top of it a little bit, it's okay. So I'm going to pull my machine over here. Subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like this video, okay? All right, we'll see all you good people later. Bye-bye.